Beerzerker. Yeah. So we got us a beer from Devil's Canyon Brewing Company, the Full Boar Scotch Ale at 7.4% alcohol by volume. Alright, so it's from San Carlos, California. You can reach them at devilscanyon.com. Let's give this beer a Scottish pour. Oh, sounds exactly the same backwards. Okay, so not gonna lie, it's a little bit well, it's malty, which you would expect out of this. Just hoping it's not kind of like a shitty craft beer malty, you know what I mean? Like the shitty craft beer, I always find they're kind of pop-like and syrupy in the malts, whether it's extract or whatever. Who knows, you know? Got a nice light base to the head, very staticky, very sparse. That's the appropriate color, very dirty, dark, murky brown with a slight caramely red tinge to it. 7.4, so I'm guessing this is supposed to be Scottish heavy. Okay, static carbonation. Not cool. Maybe bottle condition though, that could be the only excuse for that. It does look sludgy in the bottom. That could be. Roasty and nutty. It's got a nice finish. Kind of getting that bottle condition yeasty tang up there. I warmed it up a bit. It's not real warm. It's got a nice maltiness through the middle. It's actually really easy drinking for a Scottish ale with this ABV. 7.4. These can become pretty harsh in the malts. Like they can become really malty, so it's really hard to drink them because they're so rich. Okay, I'm starting to like it a lot more now. It does have a lot of carbonation in it though. Not a fan of psychotic carbonation. A little bit, there's a little bit of a shitty craft beer flavor going on here though. There are some really nice ones though as well. I mean, it is a 7.4% Scottish ale. I mean, there's got to be some nice malt flavors. I mean, somewhere in here, and this bringing that is it's not as rich as I was expecting. Something a little bit more heavy, a little bit more boozy, a little bit more like the old chub from Oscar Blues if you ever had that. This is like bottle condition. That's kind of a really nice flavor in the finish though. It's something a little different. Probably degas a little bit. Help it up. Help it out. Warm it up. Degas the bitch. There we go. Okay, yeah, not as impressed as I thought I'd be. I was a little bit expecting a little bit more, we'll say. Award-winning full bore Scotch ale. It's properly malt blend, lightly smoked with peat moss. That's made some of those nice maltier flavors I'm getting out of the middle there. Subtle hints of chocolate caramel and smoke in the beer. The drink's astonishingly smooth. First class chefs paired this wee heavy style ale with the finest cuts of meat yet. Has been infused into everything from artisanal cheeses to ice cream. Blah blah blah. So yeah, so it's smoked over peat or whatever. Starting to get some nicer aromas. A little bit of a candy type thing. It's really good with ribs. Barbecued ribs or something like that. Yeah, so warming up, smoothing out. A little bit of a yeasty tang in there. There's a lot of bottle conditioned beers I really like, and there's some bottle conditioned beers that it just doesn't work that well in. Maybe this would be better first carbonated or something. It's because you kind of getting like Belgian style flavors coming out of it, like or aspects that you would normally mentally associate with your typical some of your Belgian beers. It's warming up, syrupy. It's good. I was expecting a little bit more flash, but the peatiness is nice in there. There's nice flavors in the beer. There is. And then there's kind of a tangy yeast thing going on with the head. Very sparse, very active carbonation, which was not what I was expecting. Almost like a little bit of whiskey kind of aroma and flavor out of it. A slight spice note. It's a very minor. I know there's no spice in it, but it kind of a little pepper kick in the end. Now starting to get that malty, just super heavy crystal malt Scottish ale thing going on. Peat's big in the aroma, and all through the middle into the finish of the taste. It's a little bit better now that it's warming up and stuff, but still. I believe it was a good deal. I like it now that it's getting flatter. Bitter. A malty bitterness all through the end. Pretty typical. I'm going to give it... I'm sorry. Taking a minute. The peatiness really kicks it up. That's the one thing that's, I think, adding a lot of the complexity to this, on top of a very, very heavy malt bill, which is going to be complex in itself. As for like yeast flavors and carbonation, I think that's where I'm really getting let down here. I'm expecting more of a low carb thing. I'm not expecting a big fucking yeasty flavor and aroma coming off of it. And I think that's just where I'm having the trouble with it. I want a nice satin, low carb, residual head that I would expect on something like this a little bit more. There are definitely some bitterness from the hops in there behind everything, so that's all in place. Definitely a boozy aroma. And the peatiness, yeah, this is definitely one you're going to want to warm up and get some of that gas out. It's going to get a lot better, a lot smoother. But I'd have to put this at about an 8 out of 11. That's a little bit low for me for something like this, like a peated Scottish ale. I would expect myself to be ending up with around a 9 beer or whatever. But I think it's a solid 8. Just Just only because of the carbonation and the yeast, I'm just not digging that with this style at all. If it, you know, that's all. A little let down, but this is still, that peatiness really kicks up. So in that regard, it is better than a lot of Scottish ales I've had that didn't have that. And it's got a nicer, it's not an overwhelming malt that's going to sicken you out, so you can consume this whole bomber yourself without getting sick. With some Scottish ales, I don't think you down a bomber. I know I might have trouble with some of them. It's too rich, you know. But I don't think this will be a problem. I'd say, yeah, pick it up if you don't mind heavy carbonation, this and that, but I would definitely maybe be looking for another peated Scotch bomber, quite possibly. So let me know if you've had this one. Let me know if yours is really carbonated like that or whatever. And I'm out. Yeah.